Dating a narcissist and how we view you? Wait, what the fuck is this?
This specific video is to help neurotypicals understand the narcissist in their life and to help people with narcissism choose the right moves.
Oh my god, this is gonna be fire. Okay, I gotta pee.
Right,
Light
test.
news day.
Can you give me
I'm peeing, I'll be back in 1
okay,
second.
Okay, then.
Hey guys, it's Kaneko. Welcome back to my channel. I've noticed I've gotten a lot of new subscribers, which is amazing, and I'm really happy to welcome you here. I mainly talk about personality disorders, ASPD and NPD primarily because that's what I've been diagnosed with, but I also generally talk about the whole cluster B because we have a lot of similarities. Please make sure you like and subscribe and click that notification button. I'm in New Zealand at the moment and I was due to be back in Sydney yesterday, but you know, COVID ruined my flight, so I'm still here. At least have a nice background though. So I wanted to talk about this stupid thing. I think I was stung by something and it's killing me, and I don't want to walk through the airport like this, but I think I'll have to. Anyway, today I'll be talking about relationships with narcissistic people and how we generally view you. I know there's one about sociopath, but this is very specific to narcs. I know you want that. So as you know, I was diagnosed with both antisocial personality and narcissistic personality. Both of them have a lot of similarities, but there is also a lot of factors that go into narcissism that aren't there with antisocial personality. One of those things is narcissistic supply, but I will get to that later.
This is gonna be so good.
You're probably here either because you've been abused by a narcissist, you are a narcissist, or you're thinking you may be one, or you're friends with one. I just want to start off by saying I'm very sorry for any trauma that a narcissist has put you through. I know that it's horrific. I know that we are likely to be abusive, unfortunately, because people don't choose to make the right decisions. And that's really what leads to these toxic relationships where the empath or the neurotypical in it gets destroyed mentally, you know, sometimes physical abuse, sexual abuse, all that sort of stuff. It's really, really traumatic. I understand that. As you know, I advocate for people to choose the right decisions and to make a change in the way that they act and the way that they communicate with others. The reason I'm making this specific video is to help neurotypicals understand the narcissist in their life and to help people with narcissism choose the right moves. I know there's many pitfalls when dating someone of the cluster B personality group, but we do make great partners if we put some effort into it, and I know you guys can. So the start of a relationship with a narcissist is very similar to that with a sociopath. There's the idealization phase. This phase you'll enjoy a lot. So we tend to love bomb. This is basically all of cluster B. We just love bomb the shit out of you. We will be texting you, we'll be calling you, we'll be messaging you on Facebook.
I didn't realize that like narcissism is now considered like I didn't realize that it wasn't just like a personality disorder, but instead like a mental health, like a disability. Like since when? Since when did this happen? I know you saw this yesterday, but the Two Narcissists video by Matt Orchard is a really good video. I mean, but like people are making it seem like it's a personality disorders are disabilities. Since the DSM categorized it, personality disorders are barely acknowledged by the medical community. Everything changed when the Fire Nation attacked. Since the narcissists made it about themselves, that's when. Good one, dude. This is wild, dude. It's beyond anyone's control. It's a real thing. Okay. First of all, it's not beyond your control. Like, this video is literally about how to control it. It's something that you fucking manage, okay? Like, recognizing your own personal flaws and then managing them is what you're supposed to do. It's not like a crippling disability. but it's hard to manage. I wonder if people are going to say I'm ableist for having this take, actually. Like, I wonder if people will say that this is actually, like, an ableist take. Like, how dare you? Like, I'm a narcissist, I have NPD, and, like, and this is, like, a crippling disability for me. So, like, your crippling disability is that you're, like, super selfish? Like, what the fuck? Okay. God damn, dude. I mean... Okay. I mean, good luck. Like... Oh, man, your take is so bad here. Dude, what? Are you a moron? Jesus Christ, dude. As someone with NPD, I have to constantly be aware and conscious of when my NPD takes hold and not genuine action. Okay. Imagine being so narcissistic you fake being a Turk when you're actually Greek. Oh, fuck you, dude. Just like any mental health disorder, you can manage it, but the feelings never go away completely. That's wild, dude. I guess I am being ableist. I don't know. I mean, I guess I am. I'm ableist towards narcissism and narcissistic people. Just like I'm ableist towards, like, sociopathy and psychopathic behavior. When I say, like, psycho is a pejorative. Or narcissist is a pejorative, too. There's a difference between someone being someone that's a narcissist and someone that's been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder. How is that hard to understand? I mean, you're right that they can learn and work to control it, but it's still a mental illness at the end of the day, and people genuinely struggle to be able to control management of disorder. Doesn't mean the disorder goes away. Like, I feel like, okay, here's what I think, okay? This is gonna, trigger warning, you're gonna hear some shit that's gonna come out of my mouth that might come across as ableist, or is probably ableist, okay? But, like, I have ADHD. It's diagnosed. I have worked to manage it my entire fucking life. It can get in the way. It can be crippling for sure. But I would never fucking turn around and be like, oh, my ADHD makes me significantly disabled. Like, there is absolutely a spectrum of disabilities. And most disability activists also say that as well. Like, there is a spectrum of disabilities. And that spectrum, in my opinion, revolves around manageability and the impact on others around you, and also on top of that, like how much it, like, even how much it shows, you know what I mean? Like how difficult it makes you to, like, coexist in a world that otherwise is, like, kind of almost violent towards atypical people, neurodivergent people, and people with significant disabilities. So when ADHD is like a 2 and NPD is like a 6 or 7, what the fuck? NPD is different than the colloquial understanding of narcissists. The actual traits are different than what the general understanding is. If you behave like a jerk and don't do anything to stop being a jerk, then you want to be a jerk. You're being irresponsible about it. Can be applied to all disorders, in my opinion. Yes, an NPT is harder to manage than ADHD and makes it more difficult to exist in daily life. Milk toast take? That's not how you spell milk toast. Your take about ADHD is the same as others with MPD? Yeah, I mean, I personally think that, like, if you're, like, I feel weird saying that, like, I have, like, significant impairments that, despite the fact that I do have a hard time doing shit that other people take for granted, right? But it's still like
crazy shit going on.
It feels like I'm doing stolen valor. You know what I mean? And I feel like you kind of are, especially as it pertains to like really debilitating problems, like really debilitating problems. Like, you know, someone who is you are disability passing. I guess.
Arjan, 10 months poggies.
ADHD is a spectrum too. How do you not realize that? Most people in prison have ADHD, dude. Like even on the spectrum of autism, and I don't know if this is like an outdated term for not, but like back when I used to work with autistic boys in a Big Brother program, basically, specifically for boys with autism. Like the way to the terminology for it, and it changes all the time, used to be high functioning and low functioning. And I know that like that's probably outdated now, I assume. I don't know what the correct terminology now is, so don't fucking jump on me. But like even within the autism spectrum disorder, like there are people who can manage it, and I feel like using that as a cudgel when it's clearly manageable is you know, a little fucked up when some of the people on that same spectrum literally have a hard time with verbal communication.
Cool,
like it's virtually impossible to verbally communicate your needs, your desires. Like it's still on a spectrum. It's on the, you know, it's on the same spectrum. So that's how I feel about it. That's how I feel about like people saying like, oh, well, I have narcissistic personality disorder. And then you're probably on the narcissism spectrum, buddy. Of course I am. I'm a fucking Twitch streamer, dog. What do you mean? By the very definition, I believe that what I have to say is worthwhile and that other motherfuckers have to listen to me. Hello? Yeah, of course. Of course, dude. Wow, dude. You really made an incredible diagnosis, incredible fucking incredible analysis there. I teach accessibility training, and we say that people have varying ranges of ability. Move on with the hot take. Nobody cares. Unpause. I have light autism, and even though I look and talk normal, I'm able to be a normal human being. I have a hard time with functioning in general. Weird champ take. I mean, I get that. ADHD and NPD have huge overlaps. You seem to have an arbitrary definition of really debilitating that is based on your biases. I mean, what do you want? Like, what is the fucking like expectation? Like, if you have NPD, like, how does it work? Like, you're just gonna, like, if you're not managing it, like, am I supposed to be understanding and be like, oh man, I'm sorry, you just have NPD, so I'll let you. Like, I don't know if you guys are trolling me or not. I don't think this person in the video is saying someone with NPD has a disability. She's describing someone with that personality style. That's how I view it. How dare you not have a PhD in behavioral psychology? I don't know, dude. I feel as though you're supposed to be understanding of the victims to begin with, but isn't it also fucked up to expect people with ADHD and autism to manage it? Not saying you don't have to somewhat manage it, but for me, I have ADD myself. I get tired of always being expected to always manage it? No, I do think you're supposed to manage it like as best as you can. Yeah. No, you like, what the fuck? Yeah, that's the whole point. Listen to disabled people about what their disability is like. Just with racism, when you sit down and listen to unlearn your ableism, you need to listen to disabled people. I mean, I do listen to disabled people. Like, I mean, if you had a manic friend, wouldn't you just become wouldn't you be concerned about them? I've had friends with BPD. I've had friends with bipolar disorder as well. Like, I do have plenty of, I mean, dude, I'm a fucking millennial, dude. Everybody has something. Like, it's, what the fuck do you mean? I just personally think that, like, the reason why you brought up someone with like bipolar disorder in a conversation about MPD, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the difference. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, that's actually what I'm that's actually what that's the kind of the point I'm trying to make. Cluster B personality disorders are not comparable to mental illness like schizo and suicidality. If it gets in the way of functioning, it absolutely is treatable with talk therapy, but using terms like ableism about shit like that is minimizing it for people who struggle more. Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about. You don't seem to understand MPD, so they're using other examples. I mean, I don't seem to understand MPD, so they're using other examples, like literally proving the point that I'm making, which is like it's not comparable to other forms of like significantly debilitating disabilities that like that you need medical treatment for, like, absolutely. And you can get medical treatment for MPD as well, but I feel like there's hella fucking MPD people in the chat now getting butthurt that I consider MPD to be not as severe as like BPD or people with schizophrenia.
Notice me has
or people on the spectrum, autism spectrum that are I guess low functioning.
Book, Instagram, everywhere. We will be around because we find you so fascinating and we don't really understand how like you've been hidden all this time from us and we just need you around. This can get overwhelming and people think it's a manipulative tactic, but for me it isn't. It's never been a manipulative tactic. I just get so excited because I am generally so flat. My emotions are just flat. And when I meet someone exciting and new, I'm just like, holy shit, this feeling's amazing. So I need that kick of adrenaline, which most people don't really need. But in the idealization phase, we can't find a problem with you. You're just perfect to us. Everything you do is perfect. We tell you this.
The problem with saying ADHD isn't a disability is that it undermines it being taken seriously in the workplace. It may be covered under the ADA, but it's stigmatized and misunderstood even by those who are diagnosed with ADHD. ADHD does need support in the workplace, and it can be hard enough to deciding whether or not it's worth it to disclose it to one's employer. Okay. This chat is slowly devolving into your Discord. No, ableism is like ableism is one issue that I am somewhat reactionary on, I guess, from the point of view of like very, very aggressively leftist people. because you underestimate the severities that follow people who have MPD and BPD disorders. Shut the fuck up. Literally stop tagging BPD when you're talking about narcissistic personality disorder, okay? Like, you're literally doing the thing that I am critical about and low-key proving my fucking point, okay? Yo, I'm sick and tired of this shit, dude. What the fuck? Stop. God damn, dude. You've changed my mind. Fuck the survivors of mental and physical abuse to MPD parents law. Wait, what? That's... When did I say that?
Let's go force and Fasin.
Hold on. Anyway. Existing research suggests that MPD is associated with greater risk of suicide, death, and highly lethal suicide attempts. What? I thought MPD has aspects of paranoia like BPD, like it's a 4 on the spectrum. I think Chad is just mentioning BPD because personality disorders like MPD and BPD overlap very much. You're basically Candace Owens for disabled people. You feel like because you are successful, every person with ADHD should be? Is that what I said? I think for ADHD, like, I mean, yeah, I am, I guess. Fuck it. Yeah, I'm the Candace Owens of ADHD, straight up. Thank you, Speed Razor, for the vibe. Give the subs. I honestly never saw a difference between BPD and MPD when considering the low phases. Yeah, I'm Candace Owens for...
Allah free us from this stunlock.
You're not even being reactionary. Radlib mental health takes are wild. They pretend people with manageable mental illness have zero personal agency. They're ironically being ableist themselves. Yeah, that shit's like so fucking weird to me. That's... I know that you're going to say, to be honest, that's a bad take, and then write like fucking multiple threads on this.
Did
but
Hasan
like,
react to NBC Putin
like neuroses that are supposed to be fucking manageable are not the same as like fucking serious crippling disabilities, dude. It's wild. And I feel like some people just straight up see it as an entry point to disability to be like, I'm a fucking disability activist now. Like, that's crazy. I'm not gonna watch the whole video. It's boring. It's not that interesting. But here, let's watch it.
Time. The idealization lasts for a fairly long time for me. Maybe 2 or 3 months at least.
I'm literally like fucking L. Ron Hubbard over here with my modern psychology takes. L. Ron Hoyabembe.
Known to be longer, but yeah, this is a very enjoyable phase for both of us, unless you don't like us, in which case that's really shitty for us. It kind of feels to us like we've never met someone like you before, but unfortunately this is part of a very regular cycle we go through. Like in a previous relationship, we just traveled all over Australia for the first couple of weeks. With my current partner, he kind of quit his job and moved to Australia, and we started a business together. Just, yeah, some crazy shit happens. When it comes to narcissists, we tend to put you up on this platform that obviously you can't ever match up to. No one can be on that pedestal at all. So we have this idea of you that is not real. And when we're in that relationship with you, after the first, honeymoon phase has flown by, we start to see flaws. And we are not realistic in our relationship ideals. We hold you to such a high standard because we believe that you are that fantasy person that we've been looking for all our lives. But when you're not, when there's a little flaw, when there's something that doesn't quite meet our expectations, we start to get bored and we start to get sad, and sometimes we start to get angry. This does not work out well for most narcissists, unfortunately, nor their partners. I don't know with other people, but with me, I'll start noticing like, oh, okay, this person doesn't really enjoy the foods that I enjoy.
Who says your ADHD is exactly the same as someone else? Who decides what is manageable? Just because you decided it to be, so doesn't mean that reality is true for others. I mean, yeah, it's an incredibly personal thing. Okay, that's why everyone says, oh, your disabilities are valid. Like, okay, but to what degree? I feel like narcissistic personality disorder is like my line for it. You know what I mean? I even feel that way about ADHD a little bit. And ADHD has like more to do with fucking hormones and chemicals in your brain than NPD does.
It doesn't make time for me as much as I expect. And you know, I'm pretty easygoing. I'm very low maintenance. When you take me out on a date, I go to Nando's. I don't need fancy shit. Like, I can do that on my own time. We start to get bored of that routine of seeing them all the time and little quirks that were cute at first but are now just irritating. For us, it feels like the relationship is disintegrating very quickly. But to you, you probably wouldn't notice that until you see our behavior changing. You'll start to notice things. You'll notice that we don't call you as much, we don't text you as much, we seem to have an interest in other people, idealizing somebody else, even when we don't want to. And I'm not saying this in the way that we are cheating, because most often we are not. But we are idealizing somebody else, and that's the problem. Like, it's a huge problem for us. We have this standard we're keeping people to, and of course we don't meet that standard either. We're really hard to deal with sometimes, but most of the fallout comes back to us. So we start thinking that we are inferior, that we have not attracted a superior being, and that's not good for anyone's mental health. This is the transition from idealization to devaluing. This is when some of that gaslighting starts. It's just because we can't actually, maybe other narcissists can, but generally we don't want to tell you to your face that.
Do you know how fucked up it is when your parents say you really aren't sick because ADHD isn't a real illness? You should just suck it up. I mean, I'm not even saying that about ADHD. There's absolutely a difference though between your parents fucking saying that you don't have a real disability, suck it up, versus like you putting yourself on the same like wavelength as people who are fucking paraplegic and shit.
That they don't really like you anymore.
That's what you're saying about MPD? You're telling people to suck it up? Yeah, I mean, kind of. I kind of am saying that. Because, like, partially what you're supposed to do is recognize you have MPD and then suck it up. Like, that's literally... Am I wrong, dude? I mean, that's like what it is to manage MPD.
I'm happy. Really happy to be in this community. Long-term juicer.
Is that not literally what you're supposed to do?
Who is a part of this,
like, you go to therapy and you learn to fucking manage it by kind of sucking it up. Our mental capabilities make us more human than our physical ones. You're not supposed to fucking accept narcissism and like welcome it into your fucking home. You're supposed to manage it. That's the difference between a disability that impacts others versus a disability that impacts you and how hard it makes your fucking daily life. What are we doing, dude? Are we gonna fucking treat pedophilia in a similar capacity? Not saying that it's as damaging. Please, I'm not making a moral equivocation, but goddamn, dude. We don't have healthcare? Okay, never mind then. Fucking abuse people around you.
Who was born disabled and can't communicate. I've got ADHD.
This is the worst argument to make because, like,
close to his situation. Seems like Chad is just trying to make an excuse to accept negative things such as disabilities. Omeglal.
I cannot believe it took you to move this long to pedophilia. I mean, I wasn't trying to say it.
Where who?
Pay out of pocket for hundreds of dollars for an hour of therapy, LMAO. I mean, look, access to therapy is fucking horrible. No, Hasanabi, everyone around you must change their behavior. Yeah, like, no, actually.
I get it, bro.
I have to be an advocate for my younger brother who has a handful of disabilities. My anxiety and depression are things I work on to be functional versus inability to. You are still working to some sort of baseline. Someone with MPD does not need as much medical plus societal care as someone with severe ASD or cerebral palsy. On the other hand, MPD probably needs more care than neurotypical. It's a spectrum, not hard, chat. Your wording is awful, but you're right that everyone should try to manage it. It's just important to know that managing can be difficult and could require professional help or medication. You're supposed to acknowledge people have MPD and point them towards getting help, not just be like, it's in your head, fuck off. No, but like, the professional help is going to say this. The professional help is going to help you manage it, which is, you know, not going to take aggressive words such as what I'm saying. But like, that's it. That's the whole point. Like, professional help is not going to be like, yes, you have narcissistic personality disorder, which is why it's fine if you're fucking blowing up relationships and shit. Like, which is kind of at the heart of what I'm saying with managing MPD. You can't have this conversation on a platform of people who are shoved out of or are incapable of normal social interactions. I mean, to some degree.
So we tend to gaslight. So you'll say, oh, hey, you know, you used to text me all the time and now you don't text me at all. We'll most likely be saying, no, of course I love you. Like, nothing's changed. I feel just the same about you. But obviously it has changed. And that is a gaslighting technique. Again, I do it to save people's feelings. I don't do it to hurt somebody. It's just, I don't want a confrontation when I don't need one. I'm already angry enough as it is. I could start fights with people as it is.
It's like when okay, let me tell you something, okay? When I was younger, I was a bit of a tall boy, okay? I was taller than everyone else in my class. And I started realizing in 3rd grade that I couldn't see what the fuck was on the goddamn blackboard in class. And I was like, I don't know why the fuck I can't see it. I don't know what's going on up there. I don't know what the deal is. So when I told my teacher this and asked to go to the front of the fucking class so I could actually see it, my teacher was like, no, you're too fucking tall. You have to sit in the back, okay? So I understand that. It was fucked up. That was fucked up. So I went and I got glasses, okay? There's no point to this story other than like when we have disabilities, and technically eyesight is like literally also somewhat of a disability, you fucking learn, you figure it out, and you learn to manage it. Why did you mention you were tall? Well, the reason why I mentioned I was tall is because that's the reason my teacher gave for not letting me sit in the front of the fucking class. What the fuck? Do you not understand why I mentioned that? God damn, some of you guys literally are... I can't wait for people to start making the argument that being short is a disability. Like, being below average height is, like, unironically a disability, and there's no way to medically manage it or some shit, and that, like, you know, that's gonna... Like, half the chat literally hyper laser focused on me saying I was tall. When the only reason why dwarfism is a disability, dwarfism is just being short? Really? That's the disability with dwarfism? What are you, fucking crazy? God damn, dude. This is what I mean. This is what I mean. This is, you're doing the thing I'm saying.
90 day when? Pogo.
You're literally doing the thing that I'm talking about.
I wish red wasn't the color of communism because it's a scary color.
Why are you trying to defend the fact that people with mental disorders / personality disorders need to get help? That's obvious. Who is even arguing against that? No, I think people are just like trying to get mad because they're upset that I'm like not treating NPD with other kinds of like debilitating disabilities.
I should probably like tone it down a little bit. But yeah, this is the devalue stage. So we're seeing all the flaws. They're all coming at once and we're just like, and like the commitment is strangling us. And we don't like that.
I'm literally gonna start writing threads about how being ugly, like how being non-conforming to the fucking aesthetic standards created by the West is actually a disability. Yeah. I think we need to start addressing pretty privilege. We do. Incels beat you to that? That's true. Should I come back tomorrow for P.O. Box? No, I'm going to do it in a second.
Not at all. It's a painful
After
time
this video.
for everybody involved. I was in a relationship. Well, not really a relationship. I don't know. He thinks it was. It wasn't. I was seeing this guy, and this was in the devaluation phase. I just started noticing everything that was annoying about him. He wanted to settle down in a terrible area of Sydney. Like, I know I sound snobby, but I just don't want to live there, you know? And he was talking about working a 9-to-5 job and living for the weekend and going on holidays twice a year. And I couldn't think of anything worse. And then I noticed he had this weird, thick accent, even though he was Australian. Why does he have such a thick accent? He lives 2 suburbs away from me.
Dude, I'm so bored. What the fuck is she talking about? Narcissistic personality disorder is a serious and enduring mental illness that affects an estimated 1% of people, 50 to 75% whom are men. Unlike people who simply have narcissistic personality traits, NPD is characterized by a fundamental and enduring distorted self-image and inability to relate to the world around them in a healthy way, causing significant emotional and behavioral impairment. Although the diagnostic criteria involve many of the same personality traits evident in narcissists, arrogance, entitlement, grandiosity, and self-centeredness, and fall into either the grandiose and vulnerable categories, these characteristics must be antagonistic in nature. Additionally, 4 of the 5 essential features of NPD in the DSM-5 do not involve personality traits at all, but impairments. In order for a diagnosis of NPD to be established, all the following impairment-related criteria must be met.
Stream BB.
Self-functioning impairment, which could manifest in distorted self-identity or self-direction. Impairments in interpersonal functioning, shown as an inability to experience empathy or intimacy. Impairments must be stable across time and situations. Impairments must not be due to developmental stage or environment. Impairments cannot be due to substance abuse or another medical condition. Okay, so here's the thing. Okay?
So happy to be here.
Wow, actually reading someone with expertise when it comes to discussing disability. Wait, let me finish this first. In other words, people with NPD don't simply like attention and praise. They aren't just temporarily thoughtless because they're so wrapped up in themselves that they fail to consider those around them. Instead, people with NPD are fundamentally unable to live normal lives. They do not have an emotional capacity to engage in healthy social interactions, experience loving, generous relationships, or form realistic understandings of themselves. Moreover, they generally don't care or recognize that their thoughts and behaviors are maladaptive, nor do they seek to change. As a result, people around those who suffer from NPD are often deeply affected, sometimes even traumatized by their interactions. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing. Stop. Donald Trump is disabled, okay? And if you do not recognize that, you're a piece of shit. I'm not laughing. He is, and it isn't funny. Stop. Stop saying things in the chat. I need to look away. I need a breather. We need to move away from this. We need to move away from this, dude. Okay. We're moving away from this argument and subject because it's I can't watch this the rest of okay, I'll try to watch the rest of it.
And then I noticed like I don't really like his nose, I don't like the way he dresses. I think my parents will be disappointed. So all of this was building up and building up because I was idealizing somebody else. And so anyway, unfortunately, I didn't know it was his birthday when I told him that it was over. It was a terrible time. He parked his car outside my house for 2 hours until I came out to see him, which I didn't do because I'm fucking
Wait, is this the
stubborn,
one with
okay?
two
I'm so
narcissists? There was
fucking
one.
stubborn.
There was
Anyway,
one
it
with
his
like two
birthday, and it was
narcissists,
really
right?
Shitty, but neurotypicals get creepy as well. Look, I know that sounded horrendous, that I'm quite awful person, but I was only 22 at the time. I've been trying so hard to be more present in relationships, to appreciate the good qualities that people bring to the table. This kind of evolution that I think that other narcissists should go through to value the people in their lives. Because it's just not fair to give you this pedestal and put you on there and then just like throw you off for no reason. Because you can't meet this unrealistic, disturbingly high image that we are setting for you.
You spent the last half hour minimizing personality disorders and just ignored getting rolled by the DSM? No, I think you're misunderstanding. I think like if that's your point of view, you're like unironically, I'm going to let you know, you're unironically going to see me as an ableist. Like, I'm just letting you know.
There's so many forums in which narcissists talk about ruining relationships because they do tend to devalue you and don't realize that they've got a good thing going. And we need to fix that because we know narcissists can have successful relationships and should have successful relationships. They need to stop the cycle of abuse. The next phase, unfortunately, is discard. This also happens a lot. Basically, when the devaluation gets to us and we're just like, I'm too good for this relationship, I deserve someone so much better, someone who is actually worthy of being on that pedestal.
At the end of the day, just because you didn't suffer with a disability, I literally have medically diagnosed ADHD. So you're being ableist for not recognizing that. Okay?
We tend to just cut you off. Or we'll get to the point where we're so unpleasant that you just leave us, which is easier for us because then we don't have to do it. But then again, we feel insulted that you broke up with us. So it's just, you can't win either way, neither can we, because it's really fucking shitty. I hate it. I hate it so much. We'll do things that are so aggressive and terrible.
How dare you? How dare you tell me my ADHD is not a disability? Fuck you, dude.
So that you were like, what the fuck am I doing with this person? Discarding is a huge part of all of our relationships, even when it shouldn't be. When you've got a good thing, hold on to it, babe. I know I said it earlier, but I'm saying it again, just hold on to it. Again, I have a story for this one. This person, I was dating him for maybe a year and a half. I went to his house, as I did every weekend, and his parents were home, of course, as they also were every weekend. And I brought a toothbrush because I had Invisalign at the time, so I had to like brush 5 times a day. And when I was brushing my teeth, he was like, don't leave a toothbrush here. I don't want my mum to know you're staying over. And I got so offended by this, just like, you're ashamed of me? What is wrong with you? I was just furious. Now I understand that it was a pretty benign statement, but at the time I just cut him off completely. I did not reply to any of his messages. I blocked him on every social media platform. I stopped talking to his family, and you know, I was quite close friends with his brother. I just cut him out completely because of how wounded I felt that narcissistic supply was running out and I was instead getting the narcissistic injury. It's really shitty. It just consumes you and you just want to die, but yeah. So that was an example of my discarding for no real good reason, which narcs will do a lot. They'll also do it if you stop giving them narcissistic supply in general, or if you become too burdensome and you are taking the spotlight away from the narcissist. We naturally are not abusive. We do have the ability to be abusive because of our lack of empathy and lack of remorse and guilt. But, you know, this behavior, we need to tell other narcs that it's not acceptable. We need to create a community where they feel comfortable saying this shit to us so we can tell them that it's wrong and that they should do X behavior instead. Like I'm telling myself right now, don't fucking leave someone because they don't want you to put a toothbrush there. It's safe to say that I lose interest in people very quickly and very often, which is really a pain in the ass, if you ask me, but you know, can't really change that. And the last and final stage is hoovering. This means that narcissists draw back the people that they've expunged from their lives. Again, this is something I do often. You know the guy who sat outside my house in his car? Well, when I was lonely, I hit him up again, and then did the same thing to him, except not on his birthday. The way we do this is that we love bomb you again. This, I guess, is more manipulative love bombing, because generally we don't value you more at this stage than we did at the love bombing phase.
You need to recognize the disabilities that people have, such as trigger warning, Trump, have otherwise you are not a real leftist. This might be due to the fact that it's almost oh, fuck you, dude. I'm not reading the rest of this. You're literally agreeing with the girl in the video saying you need to manage it and not excuse abusive behavior. I mean, yeah, but when I say that, hella people got fucking mad at me and like wanted to roll me. I'm sorry, boys. Like, if you have narcissistic personality disorder and you know, you recognize that, isn't it ableism to make fun of a British person? Be nicer to Aiden. You just said it in a callous way. Well, why the fuck are people ripping my throat out like I don't think I need baby gloves with people with fucking NPD. That's what I'm saying. And people are fucking losing their shit like I'm literally telling a person who has like a paraplegic person, like, just suck it up and fucking learn how to, you know, drink water out of straws. You know what I mean? That's literally what the way that people were reacting. The way that people are reacting to my, like, I guess, take on NPD is as though I'm, like, you know, making, oh, sorry, not even paraplegic, quadriplegic. Enabling people with MPD just makes everyone around them miserable. Some people in this chat proving to me how fucking stigmatized mental illnesses are. Obviously, not everyone, but some. They were reacting to you distinguishing MPD as if it were not a mental disability, not you suggesting it needs to be managed. But ultimately, it's the same, dude. And it's like, it's not. Okay. Like, you go to therapy and your therapist tells you to suck it up. Also, I never said you didn't have ADHD, LMAO. Like, I don't think it's the same as like a severe debilitating disability or mental disorder. Okay? You're gonna spend an hour. You're gonna have to spend an hour listening to narcissists talking about how they have it the worst. Why do you think therapy includes is suck it up?
I want it.
Suck it up is definitely not the right language. Yeah, I know. Well, go to a therapist. I'm not a therapist. What the fuck, dude?
I have been radicalized.
I was asking people with MPD to treat the symptoms that cause them to abuse literally everyone around them. Ableist. None of the chat is saying this should have ever been around anyone with MPD.